So I think we are now live on Facebook.
Oh, away we
go. Well, we've just found out that we live really close to one another.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to know. The group seems to have expanded, so there's lots of different people in the group. So you only live about 10 miles down the road from me, don't you?
Yeah, it's a small world sometimes, isn't it? It's a small world.
So yeah, it's great to be here live with you, Dan.
It's lovely to be here.
And great everyone to be sharing this live with you. I hope I get to see some of your comments. I'm looking on my phone at your comments, and I'm going to be looking at a piece of paper for the questions, and I'm going to be talking to Dan and talking to you guys. So I might seem a bit distracted, but I'm multitasking at the moment. So if anyone's watching, can you please throw some likes and hearts so it kind of boosts the post a little bit, so if everyone else can see it, and it kind of like makes it a bit more visible so everyone can see. If you're watching it on replay, just put #replay so I know that you've seen it. And if you've got any comments or questions, please pop those in, and hopefully I will see those on my phone, and we'll try to answer those as best as we can. So everyone will probably know me by now. I'm Alison, and I run the Self-Belief Project, and Dan is here today to talk about transition in early years, and we're possibly going to be talking about transition into sort of nursery or childminders maybe, but also transition into school, and that we're going to include stuff around COVID as well, because I think times are really challenging at the moment. So if you've got any questions around that, please throw them at Dan. I'm sure he'll answer them. So over to you, Dan.
Hello, it's lovely to be here. So first live I've done, feel like a celebrity. So yes, so I'm Dan, and I am an early years practitioner. I work with children aged from birth right up to 4, and I've had experience with children in sort of reception, early reception, so sort of 5 to 6. I've worked in a variety of different settings, either as a student or as an employee. So I'm quite sort of well aware of the different sort of situations and the different sort of scenarios, and all the different transitions around education as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a challenging time at the minute, even for us as practitioners. I mean, it's certainly one for boosting the experience level at the minute, learning how to sort of deal with new things, sort of like this, doing Zoom meetings with parents and all sorts. So it's scary and exciting at the same time. It's sort of adding a new dynamic.
It's new for everyone, isn't it? It's new for yourself, staff members and parents and everyone. I think we're all just winging it at the moment. And you know,
I mean, it's an awful so, I mean, we chat about it at work, you know, on a regular basis. You know, it's a very bizarre scenario. Obviously we don't want the children to be at home, we want them to be with us, because that's, you know, well, that's what we're paid to do, and that's what we enjoy to do, and that's our job. So to sort of have very minimal children at the moment, even though it's fantastic, you know, we work as much as the parents do, we want the children there as well. You know, because it is it's an important time, early years. It's a very crucial step in their sort of educational journey, and that's why I'm very passionate about getting it right at this level, because then it impacts them as they develop and grow into adults as well. So if we can get it right here, we can get it right into the future as well.
Yeah. So kind of ensuring they feel secure and safe. And so kind of we're talking here about kind of reducing anxiety. So especially at this time when things are really uncertain, I bet you're working even harder to kind of reassure the children and the parents as well.
Yeah.
And you say you're talking with people over Zoom, kind of doing that,
I mean, it's sort of you know, we'd never thought we'd ever see the day that we'd ever have experienced something like this. It's just completely come out of the blue. I mean, you know, a regular part of our practice is sort of speaking with parents on a regular basis anyway, so that's not new in that sense, but it is the sort of the way in which we have to do it now. And I do feel that it has created a barrier between settings and home. You know, both parents and ourselves, we're sort of not sure. It's almost when we're trying to build a bridge with the home environment, and so that we're trying to reflect the learning at home as well. But it's almost if COVID has come and just smashed the bridge down, really. And so it's just really about trying to find alternatives. And I'd urge any parent out there that's watching this live, if you do have a concern, no matter how small it is or no matter how busy we are, please, you know, reach out and talk to your early years professionals, or, you know, even your teachers, because we are there to help.
And how do they reach out to you at the moment? Because I'm sure before parents used to come in and they'd like chat with you, and you'd feel that connection, wouldn't you? And now I think, like you say, there's a bridge or a wall there, isn't there? So how can people sort of connect?
It is a tricky one, but we're sort of just, like say, maintaining Zoom calls, and we're maintaining regular contact with the parents. So it's a little bit different where I work. So I work in a sort of a school-based setting. So we're sort of incorporated into the schools sort of delivery of information to parents. But we're even then we're sort of giving out extra pieces of information to parents. We're sending emails out, just asking if they're okay or if they've got any questions. And then obviously we're also providing opportunities for them to give us either a phone call, or, as we're doing now, a video call we can have a chat too.
So I've got a few questions, and I'm kind of thinking about time as well, because I know people are busy, and it is hard. Well, personally, I find it hard to like watch a video for a long period of time. So I've got so much else to do. So, and I was thinking just as you were talking, but it isn't a question, but I know that someone's raised it before. If they have a child that might be a little bit anxious generally, or worried, or quite, I don't want to use the word clingy, but you know what I mean, that, you know, has a really close bond with their parent. And obviously now it's really difficult to make that transition between home and childcare, especially when the parent can't be involved as much. How are you managing that at the moment in your setting?
Yeah, it is. It's again, it's sort of, it's difficult for us too, because we're trying to carry on, you know, the support that we always offer to parents. But it's sort of things like if you're a parent and you visit a setting, you go and have a look at the setting. Sort of, if you know what room your child's going to be in, if they're separated into rooms, or you know, if they're like where we are, where we've got designated staff, then just making sure that you're sort of aware of who the staff are, and then sort of at home when it's your child's day for nursery, sort of starting that at home, saying, oh, well, we're going to see, for example, Dan today, or you know, if you know any of the sort of children that they like to sort of play with, and sort of mentioning their names too. So that process can sort of begin at home, long before the setting. Sort of definitely having a chat to the key person, and sort of seeing what things that they can put in place. There's things like an extended transition period. You know, I've worked in settings where the children have come in for, if they're due an all-day session, they've come in for 2 hours in the morning, and they've done that over a period of 2 weeks until they've built it up into their all-day session.
Yeah. And that's that kind of, to me, being a mum and having kind of been through it with my own little one with a childminder, not a nursery, but that was reassuring, that time, that small time that they had to get used to it. And I think one other thing that helped me, it just sprung to mind, is like reading certain books, like not necessarily linked to school or anything or nursery, but, you know, books around courage, or, you know, like the kind of self-esteem that kind of boosts boost your child's kind of self-worth and self-belief and stuff.
Yeah, even giving them things like a teddy or a toy to look after for the day too, so they've got that sense of responsibility. Sort of, oh, well, this is my sort of job. So I mean, it is difficult, but sort of certainly starting that process at home certainly reduces anxiety for both parents and children.
Well, I just thought of another one as well, like you can put each draw a little star on your wrist, like mum or dad and little one, and that can be, or a heart or something, and that can be shared between you, kind of, you can see it all day, the little child can see it all day. And what else was there? Or like having a little keepsake or something like that they can keep hold of, that they both have, you know, parent and child. So another question would be, what is the best time to start preparing? Is there a best time?
I'd sort of say once you've got a good feel for the setting that your child's going to, I'd say that's a good time to start the transition. Like I've previously mentioned, it's sort of finding out about the nursery routine, sort of what do they do, and sort of slowly sort of introducing that transition at home. So for example, if the setting's got a uniform that the children wear, it's sort of you know, a few weeks before, we sort of just getting used to wearing that uniform and sort of making it a you know, a big sort of event of it. So it sort of builds their confidence in, well, this is my uniform and I wear this when I go to nursery.
Building connections.
So if you live close to the setting, sort of walking past and sort of having a look with them at what the children are doing, if they're playing outside, or you know, sort of stopping and having a chat to some of the staff if they're outside. Certainly works. Again, sort of familiarising yourself with the staff that are there as well. And sort of they're all sort of things that we sort of advise parents on their first induction. So these are sort of, like I say, are some very common questions. You know, when do we start transitioning at home? You know, they're sort of a little bit anxious, and I think parents are anxious as well. You know, they're dropping their child, their most precious possession in the world, to a group of strangers that they don't know. So it's sort of, our job is about not only building the reassurance for the children, but building the reassurance for the parents as well.
And how might you do that? How might you kind of reassure parents? Is there a common thing that kind of comes up that you say to people, or is everyone different?
We like to do little updates. So when the children start on their first day, we'll sort of give the parents a ring, let them know how they're getting on, what they've been doing. Or we might, say, if we've taken a photograph and think, you know what, that's a fantastic photograph, we might send it to them on email with a little sort of brief sort of context of what they were doing. And sort of, it's sort of about involving the parents in the setting as well. So if the parents feel involved within the environment that their children are, then they're more likely to come forward with their sort of queries and questions. So like when COVID's no longer here, sort of things like parents' days, where parents come in, they have a look what the children are doing and things like that. I know a setting that I used to work at, we used to do like Mother's Day, sort of pancake day. The parents would come in and there was like little stay and play sessions. So the parents would get to stay for a couple of hours and they get to see what the children were doing and sort of have a sort of more in-depth chat with the staff as well. That was really reassuring for parents. We used to get a lot of positive comments from that.
I bet that's something that's really missed at the moment, you know, being able to have that contact.
Because it's sort of, like I say, at the moment we're finding that obviously we send things home for the parents to sort of engaging with their children while they're at home, and then we sort of hear bring correspondence back. So we get emails with pictures of what they've done or what they've made, or when the children come into session, they bring it with them. it's sort of, it's the difficult task at the moment is building those bridges back and getting parents to feel that they're not on their own. And I think
I can imagine it's really easy to feel that disconnect because you can't, you know, for you as well. And so, yeah, I can imagine you're doing everything you can to break that barrier.
Yeah, it is. It certainly is a tricky one. And it certainly, life is a lot easier. We do sort of look back at it now and go, you know what, when COVID wasn't a thing, you know, it was really easy. But now,
I think when we come through this, we'll feel so resilient, like we'll be able to, you know, combat anything.
Yeah, hopefully.
So what kind of general advice can you give parents during this time, I suppose? You know, what can you...
My biggest one is biggest advice is to sort of stay strong and stay positive, because you are doing, everybody is doing a fantastic job as best as we can in this current situation. And also is that, you know, that's why this group is fantastic, because it allows us as professionals to collaborate with each other and also share our experience. So to anybody out there that, you know, we are here, we are more than willing to help, more than happy to help with whatever it is, even if it's things like providing learning activities for home, general queries in regards to returning to setting, what it would be like, you know, and even if it's general updates. I say to my parents, if you would like me to give you a phone call every day during this time to let you know how your child's getting on, then I'm more than happy to do that. Now, anything that we can do to support parents at the moment, we will.
Oh, that's really kind of you, Dan. And in terms of this group, if anyone has any questions, because no questions have come up that I can see, it's frozen on my phone, so I don't know if anyone has posted any questions, but if you do post any questions or comments, I'm sure Dan will answer those for you.
So those either in the comments or wherever they go, I'm more than happy to answer.
Or in the group, you know, if anyone's got any comments, I'm sure Dan's jumped in a few times and offered some advice that I know nothing about, or whatever. So and also if anyone kind of wants to follow you, or because I know you're on Instagram, aren't you? And I know you write a blog as well, so I don't know if you want to share that in here, or if you want to share it.
Yeah, I can do. I'm in the transition of changing it. I made a name in the first lockdown, and I think, no, I don't like that anymore. So I'm in the midst of changing all that, but I will sort of leave it somewhere once I've done all within the group.
But you're around anyway, aren't you? You're in the group, and you're kind of looking at comments, and you're there for people if they want to. Well, thank you so much for joining me and everyone in the group this evening. I hope you found it useful. I thought that there were loads of tips there, and you know, I felt reassured because my little girl's going to go into school in September, so it's something that I've been listening hard to, and I'll probably re-watch it because I have been a bit distracted kind of looking at everything. So thank you so much, Dan, and I'll see you in the group. Take care.
And you. Bye.
Bye everyone.